very, very excited to have you guys join us for our second webinar of the year. Wow, it feels like forever ago we had our first one, which was back in January. And it feels great to spend some time again with you guys. All right, so let's get started. Now, first, let me introduce myself. I'm Edmund. I've been one of the senior student advisors here for quite a while now. I've been guiding and assisting students to study medicine or dentistry for quite a while now. And a lot of them have gone out into the world to become doctors and dentists. Some are in the UK and some have gone out to do amazing things as well. And we've been guiding students throughout the journey for quite a while. And I've helped thousands and thousands and thousands of students who've gone out to do amazing things. Now, tonight, we'll be joined by a few of our specialists who will be talking, sharing their kind of expertise with you guys. You'll be joined by one of my colleagues, Tom. You will also be joined by Dana and one of the admissions representatives, Daniela, who will also be sharing with you the most commonly question asked we ask about the admission requirements and what we need to do throughout the entire process of the application. So tonight, some of the things we'll be going over will be who we are as Medlink students, because this is a question we get asked as well. We'll also discuss some of the benefits that are out there for studying medicine and dentistry abroad. We'll also go over the commonly applied to university or the popular ones abroad. Another question we get asked is the tuition fees, the entry requirements, how we help with all of this as well. And we know you will have lots and lots and lots of questions. So there will be a section as well picked out for you guys specifically to answer the questions. Who we are as an organization, because we've come a long way. And we always sit down and look at the work that we've done. And I'd like to invite Tom to tell you a bit about our story and who our team actually consists of. Tom?
Thanks, Edmund. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you're all comfortable and ready to get a really good insight and gain a lot of information all about studying abroad. So a little bit about myself here. I'm a senior student advisor here at Medlink Students. I've got years of advisor experience and guided over 2,000 students throughout their decision-making process and trying to work out where's best for them to study abroad. But as Edmund said, I'm going to help you today by telling you who are Medlink students. So Medlink students, we get asked this a lot, and we are many things. We like to consider ourselves a family. We're also a community, we're also an organization. But where did it all begin? It started off as a group of students, actually, much like a lot of you watching tonight, a group of students that wanted to become medical or dental students. And they couldn't get what they were looking for, which was a medical admission in a UK university. And so this was quite a while ago, and studying abroad wasn't the same as what it was now. It wasn't so well known, and it was quite a daunting thing to do because not many people were doing it like they are nowadays. So they decided to go and try it. Now, of course, there weren't organizations like us then so readily available to help people. So what they decided to do was apply on their own. And they went through all of the work and all of the hassle, but they managed to do it. It was a lot of stress and a lot of hassle, but they got there and they got into medical school abroad. And even then, they weren't sure, is this going to be okay for us? Is this going to be any good? But they realized that once they managed to settle themselves in and sort silly things out, like sorting accommodation, getting a phone number over there so they can call people locally, little things like this, then the rest of the things, the education was all set up for them and it all went really well for them. So what they decided from that point is, we need more people to hear about this. There are so many thousands of students that can't get admissions, or perhaps in other countries they're looking to get admissions into better schools with better recognition in their countries, and we need to be able to help them. And so in doing that, they were able to develop this company. That was just over 10 years ago now. And every year we've been growing as an organization. There's many of us now that are obviously helping and assisting students on a daily basis. And we're very proud of how far we've come. I hope that summarizes kind of who we are and sort of where we came from, a little look now at our team. So our team consists of a few different departments. We've obviously got the doctors, so they were the students I was saying about beforehand, that run our organisation. You've then got advisors like myself and Edmund. We're here to offer you the best advice that we can based on our years of experience with the students we worked with. Then once you've made a decision and you're going to apply abroad, you're with our admissions teams, and they're the ones that build your applications, that work directly with the universities hand in hand to make it the smoothest possible process. And then after that, you've obviously got our on-the-ground support teams. Now, these are the teams that are actually there in the cities that will be picking up from the airport and helping you. We'll go a bit more into that in a bit more detail later on. Just going on from there, I'd like to introduce my colleague Dana. Dana, are you with us?
Good evening. Thank you, Tom. I'm so excited to see so many students joining us as it's getting closer to October, and a lot of students are very enthusiastic to learn more about their options to study in Europe. So to introduce myself, my name is Dana, and I usually speak to students to help them and guide them according to their qualifications to find the right universities in Europe. And I've spoken to so many students throughout these years, and today I would like to share with you the benefits or the main things that students like about studying in Europe. So moving on from here, the best thing about Europe that students like is that universities have affordable tuition fees. So in Europe, we have universities ranging from fees starting from very affordable and reasonable prices like 5,000 euros a year, and they can go up to 16,000, 20,000, depending on each student's budget. In addition to the quality of education, you can get the same quality of education that you get in your home country at top universities in Europe, plus a very nice international environment with diversity, with meeting students from different areas, different countries, different backgrounds. And another great part about Europe is the flexible admission requirements. A lot of students speak to us and tell us that, how can I apply? And what do I need to apply? Many students think if I don't have biology or I don't have chemistry, I can't apply to Europe. Well, that's not true. Each university has different requirements, and they do have flexible admission requirements. Some universities would require an entrance exam, some would require an interview, depending on the university also. In addition to getting a globally recognized degree, you can get a degree that allows you to go back and work in your home country, and you can study. That's the best part, and a lot of students are worried about it, is that, do I have to learn the language? You can study in English language. The courses in Europe are taught in English language that allow you to study in English, learn a little bit of the language of the local country while you live there for 6 years, and be able to return back home and practice as a doctor. And of course, not forgetting the worries that always students have about how many students do I have, universities do I have to apply to? A lot of students ask us this: can I apply to just one university or two? Well, the answer here is that you can apply to as many universities as you want in Europe, because they are independent applications, as opposed, for example, to the UK, where you're limited to a specific number of universities. And not forgetting the modern facilities that are very well equipped and very advanced, that help you learn in the theoretical years and the practical years to the maximum and enjoy your experience getting the best quality of education. So basically, these are the best or main things about Europe. We can always find much more things to talk about, and we will see them with the students that are joining us. Back to you, Edmund.
Thank you so much, Dana, for explaining great reasons why more and more students are choosing this path. Now, obviously, I speak to students from the UK and other parts of the world. Now, when I speak with students from other countries, I hear the same thing. I can't get in because I have the right grades, I have the right background, I've got the experience, and I've tried a few years now, and I still can't get in. Now, this is the same in the UK. Now, it's actually become more competitive than ever to apply abroad. And to tell you about the current state of our of the applications and the medical schools that we have here, I'd like to bring back my colleague Tom, who will tell you a bit more about how things are looking at the minute. Tom?
Thank you, Edmund. Yeah, this is a big issue, and this is one of the reasons why so many people go to apply abroad, because they can't get in their home country, because it's very difficult. And we're going to have a look at some statistics now in terms of a graph which will show us. So this shows the amount of people that are applying in the UK. Obviously, we can see that that's only increasing. Now, we're using the UK as an example here, but this is the case in many other countries as well, where the admissions get tougher and tougher every single year. And this isn't just from an increase in just original applicants, as you can see, but also people reapplying. People are getting more and more into this reapplication culture now, as we call it, where people just think it's normal to have to apply 2 or 3 years in a row to get into medical school. Obviously, going to study abroad, that's not the case. So moving on from there, we can then look at the medical workforce. So the ironic part is, in the UK, although the spaces are so limited, the UK needs so many new doctors coming in every single year. And they're constantly faced with that challenge of requiring those doctors to join up, start their foundation years, get through the system and register. And so even though they produce so little themselves, they're relying a lot on international doctors. So as you can see here, in 2022, over 10,000 international medical graduates joined the UK medical workforce, which is more than what the UK actually produces themselves each year. And you can see that here. So this was back from 2021. And this graph shows here, you've got the 10,000 in the red at the bottom there, that's showing the international medical graduates. You've then got 2,500, that's from EU countries or EEA countries, and then only 7,000 that are actually from UK universities. So there's actually been a huge shift, as you can see, over the years, from how many come from the UK compared to abroad. And it just goes to show that the GMC is very open to international qualifications, and this is why it's become such a popular thing, especially for UK students, but also for students from all over the world. So going on from there, let's talk a little bit about what it's like in Europe. So the medical education in Europe, it may be slightly different depending on where you're tuning in from. If it's the UK or the USA, you'll notice some differences here. So with the medical program in Europe, you join straight from high school. So if that's the UK, you're using A levels, or in general terms, your high school diploma. And the course duration itself is broken into 2 parts. So you do 3 years of mainly theoretical with some lab work, and then you're looking at 3 years of practicals. So that's clinical experience that you'll be doing at that point. So it's a 6-year MD qualification altogether. Moving on from that one, we've then got the dental education. So again, this is split into 2 parts. You've got your theoretical part and you've got your clinical part, where you'll be doing your patient interactions and working with patients. So that will be in the latter half or the latter part of the dental program. And with this one, they vary depending on the school. They're not all 6 years like medicine. Some of them are 5 and some of them are 6. And this depends on the country's own regulations and how much clinical experience you need to go through in their own system. But all of them, regardless, have very good recognition internationally. Again, the entry requirements, it's straight from high school. A levels, high school diploma, in terms of the initial requirements you need before you start looking at interviews and tests and things like this. Now, obviously, the types of A levels or diplomas that you need, again, varies massively depending on the school, but we can help you with that. Okay, moving on from that then, we've then got graduate entry in Europe. So graduate entry is where, through a system of recognition of subjects, you can actually get subjects recognized from a previous degree, and that will allow you to potentially gain entry into a later year of a medical or dental program. Now, you have to bear in mind that this is subject to recognition. So you need to check with your local medical council to make sure they recognize a degree that's done in this way, with this sort of subject recognition. Going on from there, I believe it's my colleague Dana that will be discussing the university transfers. Over to you, Dana.
Thank you. Another service offered by Medlink is transfers. A lot of times we receive students that approach us and tell us that I would like to study in a different university, or I'm not happy with the university I'm studying in. Now, majority of the students here are first year students considering October 2023 intake. However, we still get the students that approach us for a transfer. In case you're one of these students, this is the time where you approach us and transfer, because transfers are usually recommended to be up to year 3. After year 3, it's quite difficult, but we can still help you. So in case you're one of the students that would like to transfer, this is possible and we can help you transfer, but it is a case-by-case assessment. So we have to look at the transcripts, the degree that you've done, where you've studied, and our expert advisors will be guiding you which university would be best for you to transfer to based on what you have. And another question that we get is budgeting. Many students would like to know about how much is it going to cost me to study in Europe, and how much would the living expenses be, and how much are the tuition fees. So as you can see in the chart in front of you, it varies and it ranges from one country to another. And a very common question I usually get is, does it mean if the university has higher tuition fees that the quality of education is higher? The answer here is no. The university education level is not related to the tuition fees. Tuition fees are usually related to the geographical location of the university and the economical situation of the country. So it's not related towards if you study in a more expensive country, then you get higher quality of education. That's not the case. So every student has a specific budget, and the best part about Europe is you can still go and study in a top university, get a worldwide recognized degree, top quality of education, live in a safe country, get everything you're looking for, and with the budget that you have, without having to worry about expenses and having any financial burden on you or your family. As an example, you can see in front of you on the chart, the tuition fees range between 4,800 euros a year in Georgia, and they can go up varying. For example, in Slovakia, up to 10,000 euros, in Germany, up to 25,000 euros. And on the other side of the chart, you can see the living costs per month. So this is a great example for students to have a general idea about the expenses of tuition fees versus living expenses, and just to make you feel comfortable with the question that students always ask, whatever budget you have, you can always find a great university to study in, achieve your dream, and become a phenomenal doctor. Back to you, Edmund.
Thank you so much, Dana, for clarifying this as well. Now, we are often asked, now this sounds great, Edmund, that how can you guarantee my entry? And I've tried so many times in my home country and I just can't get anywhere. So how can you get me into a school where I can start my journey into medicine or dentistry? Now, to tell you about sort of the hard work that goes into applying, getting the work done, preparing you for any test that you need to do, I'd like to invite one of the representatives in the admissions team, Daniela, to tell you a bit more about the hard work that goes into how we actually achieve all of it. Daniela?
Thank you, Edmund. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniela, and I am part of Medlink Students admissions team. I am here to share with you what are the requirements for the European universities. Most institutions require from you to have a high school diploma or equivalent to the high school diploma. You should usually also have a strong background in the basic science, which are biology, chemistry, physics, and maths. Some of the university requires from you to have English proficiency language certificate, and this is only for the non-native speaker. This is only so the university is 100% sure that you will be getting the most out of your education. Some of the universities also have entrance exam. You don't have to be worried about that because our team will help you with the preparation for the entrance exam. We will provide you with all the provisional materials, and we will make sure that you're 100% prepared before it's time for you to participate in the entrance exam. The entrance exam itself includes open questions or combination between multiple questions and open questions. Our team also helps with legalizing, translating, and notarize the documents, and this is how we make sure you will receive the acceptance letter for the university of your choice. Our objective on Medlink Students admissions team is to make sure that you have the smoothest application process, and we will be here with you every step of the way, answering all the questions and all the concerns that you might have. In case you need a visa to enter the country that you have chosen for yourself, our team will assist you with that as well. Now, moving forward, what else do we do on the admissions team? Our team starts with preparing your documents, making sure you have a very strong file before we submit it to the university. Some of the university requires for you to hand physically your documents. You don't have to worry about that as well because our team has representative in every country that we work with. This is how we make sure that all the deadlines and all the requirements are kept on time. In case the university that you have chosen doesn't have an entrance exam, that means that that university will have interview. Our team assists with the interview as well by providing you with all the questions and the answers before it's time for you to participate in the interview. Medlink Students admissions team is in constant communication with all the institutions that are involved in your application and with the universities as well. This is how Medlink Students is 100% sure in our success. So if you have any questions about what are the requirements for the European universities and you would like to apply, all you have to do is contact one of our expert advisors and we will help you with everything. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you, Daniela. Fantastic. Yeah, great insight from one of our admissions representatives there, Daniela, who has taken some time out now to do this, in between obviously working through so many applications that we have already for this year's intakes. Okay, so we want to talk now a little bit about some of the most popular choices from last year. So we gathered up the numbers, we looked at the students, and around all of the students that applied through ourselves, there was a fair amount of variety here that you can have a look through. But these are all very popular schools. Now, one of the key things here is variety. You can really find schools here that are suitable for you, and that's one of the benefits, or in my opinion, one of the main benefits of going to study medicine or dentistry abroad. For example, you can find courses, some that are more expensive, like Hungary, for example, you're looking at about £16,000 a year. Whereas at the same time, you can find courses with a similar level of quality that are much more affordable, like Georgia, for example, which I think we'll be running through shortly in a bit more detail. Now, also in terms of locations, you can choose a location that's more suitable for you. Perhaps you want a capital city. Perhaps you want somewhere that's a bit more quiet in a bit of a smaller city or a smaller town. Perhaps you want somewhere that has specific extracurricular activities, or sports clubs or something like this. Whatever you're looking for, you can almost always find it with going to study abroad. The other good thing is the entry requirements. Now, they're just as varied as well. So although some of these schools are really tough to get into, some of them can be flexible as well. And if you've got that level of determination and commitment to study, then you're definitely going to be able to find good opportunities within these options. So speaking of popular options, we want to start off by going through a few schools with you now. So we're going to do a bit of an overview of some of these schools to give you a little bit more in-depth information. I believe we're going to be having some students discussing this with us as well. Right, so to start off with, I want to talk about a school in Georgia, and this one is called Tbilisi Medical Academy, or TMA for short, as we often refer to it. So this is a school, as I said, based in Georgia. It's based in the capital city of Georgia, Tbilisi. They teach just medicine in English. It's a 6-year MD. Our tuition fees, as you can see, are approximately €6,500. So that's just over £5,000, I want to say at the moment, per year. And the cost of living around €550 per month. They do have dormitories available for students that are interested. Again, a lot of universities in Europe don't have that, so that's an important thing. If that means a lot to you, that's something good to look out for and always ask about when you're looking into a school. And their next intake had just gone, the March intake there. So moving on from there, let's have a look at a few of the campus features. So here you can see they've got libraries, like many schools, but again, you'd be surprised, you know, some don't have access to things like this, and if they do, they're more community ones that you have to then pay a premium for. With the school, they're all included. Carrying on from that, you can see some of the laboratories. Again, up-to-date facilities. You see the same nowadays all across Europe, wherever you go, whether you're spending 20,000 a year or 5,000 a year on the education, you have these facilities in the top universities in each country. Going on from there then, so again, you can see here, they've got very well equipped rooms. This is where you'll be having a lot of your lessons. One of the good things with Tbilisi Medical Academy is the class sizes are often very small. So if you're looking at having a small teacher to student ratio, it's a very good school to consider for something like that. So going on from there, you've then got your simulation rooms. These are going to be a vital part of your education before you go into the clinical experiences with real patients. So this is where you're going to be working on dummies. You're going to be using, as you can see, the anatomage tables as well to do your virtual anatomy. This is something that's got very popular in modern medical schools, you know, in recent years. So carrying on from there, you can then see some of the extracurricular and leisure activities. So as you can see, they have loads. This university has a big emphasis on international. So they have a lot of partnerships. They do a lot of international events, a lot of exchange programs, that sort of thing. And a lot of their board are actually from all over the world as well. So they're not just being focused on by people native to Georgia, but they have on their board people from America, people from Belgium, and all over the world. It's a fantastic school to experience. As you can see, sports teams as well. Of course, welcome parties. I know this doesn't sound like a very serious thing, but it can make a huge difference to a student when you're arriving there kind of on your own and you want to get ready to meet people. You know, being able to have these kind of social events where you can all get to know each other, share these common goals and these common nerves, and all start to become like a second family for each other. It's something that we like to see every single year. So moving on from that one then, we've then got a guest student. So have we got our student available at the moment for Tbilisi Medical Academy?
Hi, my name is Ipileng. I'm available.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience at the academy?
My experience overall has been really good. I've been helped out from the beginning. The admission process has been fairly easy. With the interview, I did an interview to get into my university TMA. I received preparation material, and the company has just helped me throughout from the beginning of arriving to the actual country itself. We've had a driver take us to the hotel and just help us see the university and everything as a whole. Coming here, obviously, as a person of color, I was worried about, like, since there's not that many people around that look like me, like, it's been honestly completely fine. It's honestly so safe, and everyone is here is very, very kind. So, yeah.
All right, fantastic. It's so nice to hear that you've been treated so well, and you even sound in your voice so comfortable and so kind of calm for the whole experience. And you're about to start. I thought you'd be a bit more nervous, a bit more stressed by now. But what have you thought about the whole city in general there as well?
So the city is very different from what I'm used to. However, like everything is close by. I have access to pharmacies, local shops where I can go get like food and everything. So everything's very close by, and there's not much of a language barrier. Like I would like to say like they speak broken English. It's very surface level. But if you'd have like in-depth questions, apps like Google Translate can really help with that.
Yes, Google Translate is a lifesaver, isn't it, in our modern age for helping
Yeah.
people. But I find that with these countries, when you need somewhere where you need someone to speak English, then they tend to, don't they? Especially somewhere like Tbilisi, it's an international city, capital city, so it's not too much of a problem. And can you tell us any insight about the school yet?
The school has been very helpful and attentive. They're very interactive. They do give us some clinical correlations, which kinds of build a broader idea of for the information that we're learning, and kind of get to see how everything fits in terms of medical terms, if that makes sense. So yeah, everything is good. The university classrooms are quite small. It's making it easier to communicate with teachers, and they kind of pay attention to your facial expressions to see if you understand. And they're always willing to kind of go over things if you're not sure or if you're not certain about something. So that's been really good.
Great. So sort of little aspects that make a big difference to helping you with your education.
Indeed.
Fantastic. We might come back to you later on just to ask you a few questions from the Q&A. I'm sure there's probably some people now writing you some questions. They want to hear about your experience. So again, thanks so much for joining us, and we will probably ask you to answer a couple of things in a little bit of time, if that's okay.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. You're more than welcome. Okay, so moving on from there then, we've got another university in Georgia. So this is the European University, which is also in Tbilisi, the capital. Now this one does medicine and dentistry. So the medicine, 6-year English taught MD. The dentistry is a 5-year English taught DMD. Again, there's no entrance exam, the same as TMA. Tuition fees here are a little bit less, as you can see. So around £4,500, €4,800 per year. Cost of living, of course, around the same, being in Tbilisi. Again, there are dormitories available, and they do intakes in March and October, which is again the same as Tbilisi Medical Academy. So very, very similar, in terms of their initial kind of setup. Moving on from there. So some of the features, again, you've got access to full libraries. So this is another university where you're not going to have to go anywhere else for this. You have everything you need on campus. So when you're studying hard and you just need to quickly get to the library, it's all there, it's all available, and it's all made convenient for you specifically. And carrying on from there, again, you've got access to laboratories, state-of-the-art facilities that they have there. Moving on from there, again, the well-equipped rooms. This university is slightly bigger class sizes than Tbilisi Medical Academy. They do take on a slightly larger number and cohort of students each year. And carrying on from there. Okay, so some of the dental equipment. You can see here some of the phantom heads. Again, like the anatomy facilities that we saw with Tbilisi Medical Academy before, this equipment for dentists is vital to helping you get a good understanding and good practice and experience before you start those years with real patient interactions. And again, you've got the simulation rooms, so very similar again to what we saw before with TMA. You've got the dummies that you'll be doing your practices on, that you'll be getting tested on to ensure your levels and your abilities are good enough, obviously, to work with real patients, so that when you go into those real clinical settings, you will have the most experience and the most confidence that you need. And then a little look at their dormitories here. They've got some really nice dormitories available with the European University. They are quite hard to get a hold of with this one in particular. So you have to make sure you apply fast for the dormitories. That's a little tip. And carrying on from there, So extracurricular and leisure activities. So similar again to TMA before, they've got medical championships, they've got a lot of different sports, even chess teams as well. And again, lots of welcome parties. They really want to make you feel comfortable and well adjusted, allow you an opportunity to get to know the other students in your year and later years. Lots of different trips and different events and exchange programs involved with this one as well. Okay, so moving on from there, we then have our guest student for the European University in Tbilisi. Are you with us?
I'm here.
Hi, can you tell us a little bit? Oh, sorry, Google Ether, is it you that's there?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Can you tell us a little bit about your personal experience at the European University?
Yeah, of course. So I'm just gonna start from the beginning of my journey. I'm currently I'm about to start my 4th semester. I'm studying dentistry at European University. And yeah, just from the beginning, I'll be honest, when I was in this situation that many of you guys are in now, I was quite skeptical with Medlink. I wasn't sure. I was like, is this going to be a scam? Is this going to be one of those just things that don't really become anything? So I came across Medlink when I was just a bit stuck. I had studied dental nursing and dental hygiene and therapy. I was in the middle of studying dental hygiene and therapy, but I had always wanted to do dentistry. So it was a big dream of mine. And I had attempted to get into dentistry here in the UK. And of course, as we know how competitive it was, I wasn't able to get in here. So feeling a bit hopeless, I just went online and I was looking at, studying abroad. I wasn't very serious about it. But then I came across Medlink and I put my number down on the website and I got a call. And I think it was actually from yourself, Tom. I got a call and that's when I started to think, okay, maybe this is a little bit legitimate. And then I ended up in a webinar like this. And yeah, that's how basically everything got started for me. So the next steps for me was I wasn't sure where in Europe I wanted to go. So I spoke to Tom and we looked at the different options. And I think one of my main sort of concerns was like money, being that I would have been dependent on my parents. I didn't want it to be too much of a financial strain for them. So I looked at my options and then we ended up deciding that European University in Tbilisi would be best for me with the low cost of living and everything over there. And I think I was also told Georgia is one of the safest countries worldwide. I think it's maybe 4th on the list if I'm not wrong. So that kind of, put me at ease as well. So then I went ahead with this and I put my application through. And with the application process, really, it was quite simple. A lot of it was taken care of by Medlink. I didn't really have to worry about too much. I just provided everything that I was asked to provide, with passports, past education, things like that. So I submitted all of that. And before I knew it, I had an interview and interview went well. I was, well equipped for the interview. I was told, what kind of questions to expect and yeah, things like that. So I did my interview and it was a success. I got accepted quite quickly after my interview. I remember being super excited, but at the same time, like really anxious, nervous, like what even is Georgia? I didn't even know the country existed before this whole process. So I started doing a little bit more research, looking online at where I'm going and stuff like that. But I think the main thing for me was that I was very keen to explore. I was prepared for the culture shock because I just knew it was going to be a completely different place. I think as long as you're open-minded and you accept that, it's going to be a new experience, it goes pretty well. So Medlink hooked me up with someone who accepted us or received us from the airport. So we had a driver and they took us to the place that we're going to be staying. And we had help with opening a bank account. Well, they helped us with that, opening a bank account and getting a SIM card, things like that, things that you don't really think about necessarily when you're over here.
What we all want to hear, what, sorry, just to interrupt there, but I know that there are a lot of people here, they want to know, what's the education like there? How have you found it?
It's been very good, actually. I think one thing I was impressed by or noticed was that, like with different subjects, they all correlate in the sense that if you're maybe studying, say, the circulatory system, you would be in physiology, you'd be studying the physiological aspect of it, and then in biology, you're looking at the biology of it or the biochemistry of it. So that's pretty helpful. It kind of helps you get a more holistic understanding of what you're learning. And the lecturers are very helpful. They're always willing to help with whatever questions you have. They explain as best as they can. And of course, it's in English, which is one of the concerns that I had as well. Yeah, I think it's been really good in that sense.
Fantastic, because a lot of people, they really worry about going to these countries that maybe they'll just be put there with a textbook or with a PowerPoint presentation on the board in front of them, and they'll just have to copy things off of it. But from what you're saying, it's very engaging experience for you.
Absolutely, it's very engaging. You get your lectures and then you get the more tutorial-based classes where you get to interact and actually talk about the lectures and, you know, get a more deeper understanding and explanation as well from the lecturers.
Fantastic. And have you joined in any of the social events or the sporting clubs or anything like that yourself?
Yes, we've had a few parties, like we had the Christmas parties and the New Year's parties, as well as the welcome parties that are there every year. That's always a good way to socialize with the people around and get to know who the rest of the colleagues are. I think initially I had started like during COVID, so I didn't get to meet my classmates or get to know anyone really around campus. But as soon as COVID was over, you get to interact with other people, and yeah, it's been really good, honestly. And I think as of lately, I think the last semester, the semester before, there's been a lot more British students coming into my university particularly. So that's been great as well to feel like, okay, I'm not alone here. There's other people going through the same thing that I'm going through.
Fantastic. Guguletu, thank you so much again for sharing everything with us. We may be coming back to you, so hold on if you can when we get to the Q&A. I'm sure a lot of people watching want to hear more of what you have to say and more about your experiences and kind of how you've developed. And can I say as well, from my perspective, it's been amazing kind of when I spoke to you that first time and you were so nervous before and you really, like you said, you had no idea about any of this. And now to have you here as a representative, you know, representing the students there, you know, and sharing your experiences and helping like-minded students to take that leap of faith, it's a fantastic thing. So hats off to you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, moving on now then, I believe I'm passing on now to my colleague, Dana. Dana, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Over to you.
Let me introduce, thank you, Tom. Let me introduce our partner university in Serbia, Novi Sad. Novi Sad has a medicine course, has a dentistry course. They even have pre-med and very affordable tuition fees, 6,500 euros a year. The university has an entrance exam. The entrance exam is to test your basic knowledge in biology and chemistry. So it's a basic exam that we also help students prepare for. And the next intake for Novi Sad is going to be in October. So rush in, a lot of students are applying, seats are filling up. And let me show you a little bit more about the features, the campus features. One of the best parts is modern classes and lecture rooms that Novi Sad has. As you can see, the rooms are very modernly designed for you to enjoy your classes to the maximum, to enjoy your seminars with multimedia systems, high-speed internet, which students are enjoying to the maximum there. In addition to the laboratories, the best part is the laboratories, because the university has labs that are equipped with up-to-date equipment and facilities to provide a great hands-on experience. And speaking about the hands-on experience, moving to the clinical practice that the university offers, they have a very strong clinical practice with their modern facilities and the hospitals that, of course, the team of expert doctors that you get to spend time with and learn from to the maximum and get the best practical experience possible. Moving on from here, we get to see pictures of the campus. So you can look at how big the campus is and the nice scenery around it. One of the best campuses, and Novi Sad's being one of the biggest cities in Serbia. You can see the scenery around the campus. I think we have more photos if we move the slide, of the halls and the inside of the university campus. And let's move to the reason why the students like to study at Novi Sad. One of the things is because it's a big city, it's easy to travel there. And another great part, which is the exciting part for most of the students, is Novi Sad is known for its successful performances at festivals, activities in the country and abroad, and the multicultural environment that they have. Moving on from here, I'm excited to introduce that we have today representatives from Novi Sad.
Hello, everybody. My name is Branka, and this is my colleague Marco. We both work in the Secretariat for Studies in English. And I will introduce you briefly to our university and some of our programs. And Marco will later explain you a little bit more about our admission procedure. Okay, so the Faculty of Medicine of Novi Sad is established in 1960, and this is public institution. We are member of the University of Novi Sad, which was also established in 1960. We have about 5,500 students, and some 500 of them are in our English programs. Our programs in English started around 1993. Medicine and dental medicine a few years later. So we basically offer two full programs in English. It's medicine lasting 6 years, and this is equivalent to 360 ECTS credits. And dental medicine also 6 year and 360 ECTS credits. As I said, both programs are fully available in English language. We offer a lot of practical training. Our students start basically with the practical classes from the second year, and then the number of practical classes in the hospital increases every year. So our school is located a little bit outside of the main campus. That means we are actually located in the middle of the hospital area. This is the regional university hospital, like University Clinical Center of Novi Sad. And our students have lectures at the premises of the faculty and practical classes in the hospital. And Marco will now tell you a little bit more about our admission procedure and the basic requirements for admission.
We can't hear you, Marco.
Sorry.
We're still struggling to hear you. can you come closer, please?
Yes, yes, of course.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I want to make a little correction. Our next intake is in May, and we will have another one in June. Our admission process is simple. We require A level, 12th grade for education. We require entrance exam. Entrance exam is online, and entrance exam is from biology and chemistry. It is done. It lasts for 3 hours, and there are 30 questions from biology, 30 questions from chemistry.
Marco, can you please come a little bit more closer?
Of course.
So we can hear you better.
Okay, I hope you can hear me a little better now. Our entrance exam is online entrance exam, and it's from biology and chemistry. We are doing it with 30 questions from biology, 30 questions from chemistry. Also, we will have some 60, 70 available places for medicine and 20 places for dental medicine. I think that those are about some basic informations about us. Maybe if you want to ask some questions, we will be happy to answer it.
Maybe I can just add something with regards to A level high school degree. We don't pose any specific requirements regarding the grade in biology, chemistry, physics, or math. So students, any passing grade in these subjects is okay, and students must pass the entrance exam in biology and chemistry.
All right, thank you for this. And let me ask you a question here, because we'd like to know the secret. Why do students love to apply to Novi Sad? Like, they enjoy their experience a lot. Can you tell us a little bit more about the facilities that you have and the activities for students?
Yes. So basically, students like to come to Novi Sad because Novi Sad is a city which is very.
Can you please move a little bit closer too? So
yeah, I'm trying, but we also have a problem to hear you from time to time. But is it okay now? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So why students love to come to Novi Sad? This is basically Novi Sad is a very comfortable city to live in. It's very vivid, but it's not too large and not too small. It is. We say we have everything what we need, what the students need and like. It's very easy to get around because everything is close. It's flat. You know, everything is accessible by walking or by bicycle. And here at the school, we are really trying to make everything easy and comfortable to our students. We are available for them for any kind of help that they might need, starting from this application procedure. We try to explain everything clearly. And also our teachers, we have a lot of very young teaching staff, and they are really trying to get closer students. And maybe this is one of the reasons. The second reason might be very rich extracurricular life. We have a lot of sports sections, we have scientific sections. They are very, very successful. There are festivals, a lot of festivals in Novi Sad, and our students make a lot of parties, welcoming parties for their colleagues. We have also, this is sort of a competition of all medical faculties in the territory of Serbia, usually at the coast or in the mountains. There is a lot of sport competitions, and our teams are always among the best. We also have several very famous congresses, and our students can also participate in Erasmus, and we have several bilateral agreements with schools abroad, like University of Hatia in Thailand, like universities in Italy. So our students can choose to do training.
We are still struggling a little bit to hear you. If you can please move a little bit more closer.
I cannot even hear you. We have some problem with the connection. I don't know what you heard. Hello?
All right. That's fine. We managed to hear part of it, and I'm sure we'll manage to mention from the students also, and the chat. We have a lot of questions coming in. Keep it coming, guys. I see a lot of students asking a lot of questions. We'll come back to you for sure. But as a summary,
Member of Medlink family, we have started our cooperation basically in this year. So and thank you for hosting this. And
we can't hear you. We will come back to you for sure. But as a summary, Novi Sad is one of the first universities that have started doing medicine in English language and dentistry. It's the longest operating campus. We'll try and get back to you once we've fixed the microphone issue. So moving on. Another partner university we have is University of Niš. Faculty of Medicine also. And University of Niš has a medicine program fully taught in English and a pre-med course. The tuition fees are also very attractive and affordable. It's around 5,500 euros a year. And the university also has an entrance exam that covers biology and chemistry, basic knowledge. Let's look at the facilities and the campus features. One of the main things that are attractive about Niš is the laboratories. So the laboratories in Niš universities are modern, well-equipped, and they have very well-equipped facilities to support a wide range of academic and research activities. In addition, as you can see, the modern classes and lecture rooms that the university has, they are designed to support students with a comfortable learning environment, such as also multimedia systems, good high-speed internet connections, and many more you can enjoy. In addition to the most exciting part, the simulation rooms. Simulation rooms in Niš are specialized facilities to provide students with hands-on experience in a safe environment and well-equipped and advanced technologies, allowing students to practice skills and techniques in a realistic setting. And moving on from here, we managed to see the clinical experience part that students enjoy to the maximum. And as you can see, the facilities, you get to learn from the best doctors that are very well experienced, and you get to see different patients with different cases. And moving on, we get to see the best part also, the extracurricular and leisure that the university has. So the university is known with the nice activities that they do, like the sportive activities for sportive people, like volleyball, basketball. As you can see in front of you, students loving the parties and the exercises they're doing. In addition to research projects, language courses supporting students to learn the language to help them in their daily life, scientific conferences, and the graduation ceremonies, the welcoming parties, and the New Year's. Now, why study at Niš University? Niš University has lots of nice activities for students to do, because as you know, medicine is stressful, and usually students would like some activities every now and then to release that stress. In addition to the several student organizations on campus that they have to promote social networking events to help students make friends. So you get to adapt and make friends from day one at the university. Moving from here, I would like to represent to you our student who's joining from Niš. Shinga, you here?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience in Niš University, Shinga?
Well, from the start, I started off a bit nervous. I didn't know what to expect, but when I got to Niš itself, I was welcomed by a few students. They helped me find accommodation, and then they put me straight into school the following days. And then I think it was the professors that really put me at ease because they were able to communicate very well and also teach me very well. And that was a huge source of inspiration to leap forward into my education because it was disrupted by the whole, Ukraine war. So then it was kind of difficult to just roll back into medicine, but they made it very easy for me. In terms of the education, I think it's very good because of I think it's the English language. Usually you expect, because it's Eastern Europe, you don't think that they're going to be speaking good English, but then Serbia, they really surprised me at the way the quality of their English is almost as good as mine. So it made things very easy for me to learn and other students to learn as well. So we get a lot of quality information. And then when it comes to the practical work, it's hands-on experience as well. So we're not really shying away from anything. Everything's really provided for us, and it's very good, and I appreciate that.
All right, thank you. And a common question that I see is going up here is, can you tell, students are asking, they would like you to tell them about your experience in the city and adapting in Serbia. Can you tell them a little bit more about student life?
Student life, it's pretty good because it's sort of known as a student town. So there's a lot of students, not just foreigners, but then other Serbians also coming into Niš to study. And everyone literally speaks English on the street. So you don't really have to worry about learning the language or finding any troubles trying to communicate anything. It's almost as if you don't have to learn a language. But if you want to learn a language, then that's on you. And there's quite a lot of activities that you can do. I've noticed that people like to do a lot of hiking because of the way Niš is situated around mountains. So people usually go on the weekends as a group and then go hiking, take pictures. There's also sporting activities, music festivals during the summer, clubbing if that's sort of your thing. So there's quite a lot of things that you can keep yourself occupied with. And then also, if you do want to learn extracurricular activities, then the university does provide that for you.
All right, lovely. Thank you for your insight here, Shinga. I see a lot of questions from students. I think we're going to need you again today answering questions in the Q&A section. But thank you so far.
No problem.
So I'll hand it over to my colleague. Moving on.
Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you. So let's have a look at the next university. Before I do that, I see that there are so many questions that are coming in. There's so many great questions as well that you guys are sending in. Please do keep them coming. We are going to spend some time in the Q&A section as well. But as I say, we will upvote some of the really good ones. And don't worry, there is no such thing as a silly question. We will answer every one of them as best as we can, all right? So, Poland. Now, Poland has become one of the top destinations to pursue medicine or dentistry. Now, for dentistry, you can study there for 5 years, where you graduate as a doctor of dental surgeon. For medicine, you graduate there, which is 6 years. You graduate there as a doctor of medicine, so MD. Now, the Medical University of Silesia, this is a university that offers medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, different other courses there as well. It's a university located in the south of Poland, in Katowice, and they've educated over 50,000 students over the years that they've been there. Interestingly, they are one of the first medical schools in Europe to actually start teaching in English back in the 90s. And it's a university that was established back in the 1940s as well. Now, as a school, they have an entrance test, which is and a short interview. But don't worry, this is something that we prepare you for. We'll provide you with all the materials that you need so that you can ace that test. Now, the entrance test consists of just basic biology and chemistry. Tuition fees for medicine, you're looking at around 11,000 euros per year. And then for dentistry, you're looking at around 12,000 euros per year. And the tuition fees can be paid semesterly as well. So you'll pay 50% each semester. The living cost really varies depending on your lifestyle. So if you want to live outside the school, you're looking at anything between 600 to 800 euros, which includes everything that you need: bills, rent, internet. Now, the university for medicine, they have 2 intakes per year. You can join the October intake, or you can join the February intake. The October intake we just completed, so you have the chance to join the October intake. They do work on a first come, first serve. So if you are looking at that, let's see whether you would be eligible, and let's have a chat about whether or not you can apply there. Now, as a school, they also have the state-of-the-art labs, which are really comparable with other medical schools across the world. They have the halls, which are really equipped with quite informative seminars and presentations as well. Now, the dental faculty, which is really great, also provide phantom heads for your early development and also your hands-on experience as well. Now, with every university, they have simulation rooms. Now, the centers of the medical faculty allows you for early hands-on experience for the medical students, which is really to help you develop yourself as an individual before you actually start seeing patients physically. Now, of course, it's not just all work and no play. They do have extracurricular activities for all students, whether you're looking to improve your cooking skills, whether you're into any painting, any climbing, football, boat sailing, horse riding, anything that you're kind of thinking. Swimming is one of the activities that you can get involved in. Maybe if you want to get into some dance classes as well, some futsal, pretty much any activity that you can think of, you can take part in. They also organize other events as well, like Freshers Week, New Year parties. They organize graduation ceremonies as well. And they also have like field trips, which allows other students to see other universities as well as cities. And then they also organize conferences as well for other universities to join. Now, as always, we do our due diligence before you even step foot in the university. Why would you want to study at this school? Well, the university's degree is recognized by many, many medical councils. With its vibrant city, it's quite known for hosting loads of summer festivals during the summer break. Now, of course, a very green city. So you can also take a break from the kind of the hustle and bustle with your friends if you are looking for a quiet weekend. And the school has over 2,000 international school students who are enrolled in their English program. Now, we will always look at opportunities for you as a student to go to a school that allows you to feel comfortable in. And we've been with Silesia for quite a good number of years, and we've become one of the official representatives for the school. But of course, this journey starts with just a phone call. So you might be wondering, how do I apply? Do I qualify? Let's have a look. I might not have A levels. We can sit down and understand exactly what you're looking for and to see whether you would qualify. Now, moving on from here, we have a student. I can't just tell you all about this without bringing in a student to tell you about how it is over there. We have a student that's joined us, Anina, who's a first year studying medicine, who joined us earlier this year. Tell us a bit about her journey so far. Anina, are you here?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear and see you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I Yeah, I'm good. So I go to Katowice and I've been there for a semester now. So I'm in my second semester. And to be honest, like when I was applying for the university, my parents dealt with Medlink. So I had nothing to do with it because I was busy preparing for the exam. But when I got to Katowice, that's when we really started to use Medlink a lot. So we use them a lot to find my accommodation. And I'm staying at a really, really amazing accommodation. It's full of international students. And there's so many medical students, not even medical students, there's loads of Erasmus students as well. So it's like a really massive international community, and everybody here speaks English. So it's really, really great. Because I wouldn't really say that there's really a struggle with the language, because mainly a lot of the younger Polish community can speak English, so it's really easy to communicate with them. The only issue is usually with the older generation, but we have Polish classes in school which really, really help us to get used to the language. And we really do, like, the basics are like, it's a difficult language, I will say. It's not similar to English, but it's not too difficult to learn. And yeah, so I use Medlink a lot for to help set up a bank account, help find health insurance, help find my accommodation, things like that. And now that I'm settled, I really, really love it. Like the uni, I have to say, the uni is a very self-taught uni at the beginning, but we have a lot of help because of where I stay. We have so much help from the older years, and obviously I met a lot of them through Medlink, and I also met the friends I have now through Medlink. So it was really good that I knew people before. That I knew people before I went to class, because it made it a lot less daunting, because obviously you're in a new country and you've never met people. But it was really, really good that we knew at least the names of people, even it wasn't just you alone.
Thank you so much, Anina. And I think as you were talking, I used to speak with your parents actually, and I remember the evening. I know your parents would speak with me at 10 o'clock at night because your mum was concerned about something, and she was always appreciative of yes, and she was always appreciative of the time that we were always available. And as you were talking, as well as you're saying, we helped you with things like setting up a bank account. These things might sound so insignificant, but actually it helps so much when you're going to a completely new country that you've never stepped foot in.
Yeah.
A question that has come up is, how have you found the language? Have you found it as a barrier as you've been there?
To be honest, at the beginning, it was a bit difficult because we were choosing to communicate, I think, not with like I said, here, we didn't realize that pretty much all the younger generation can speak English really, really well, but the older generation do struggle. And when I was here for the first couple of days with my parents, we'd always try and speak to the older generation. They really struggled. But again, we did have Google Translate to help us. But then when we started talking to younger kids, they could understand us completely and they were really, really helpful. But then I'd say so it didn't really affect my social life because of where I stay. Like I said, my social life revolves around the people who live here, and everybody who lives here can speak English really, really well. And even saying that doesn't mean we don't speak to the Polish students. The Polish students are even more helpful. For example, when we order food and we want to know where our food is, we always ask them to speak to the restaurants, and they're probably so fed up of speaking to our Uber Eats drivers, but they're so helpful all the time. So I wouldn't really say the language is that big of a barrier, and we do study it once a week in school, and I would say Polish is definitely one of my whole class loves our Polish lessons. It's probably our favorite class. But yeah, I wouldn't really say it was too much of a barrier.
Fantastic. And I think another question, of course, going to study medicine, which is a very tough course in itself. What is the obstacle that you've had to face there, and what did you do to overcome that?
I think for me, maybe it was I thought there'd be for everybody here speaks English, but for me there was maybe the lack of British people. But then this semester we got so many new British people, and it was amazing. In my first semester, it was just me and my other friend. And we struggled a bit, but then everybody speaks English and we did assimilate really well together. I think we were just really scared at the beginning because we speak really fast and a lot. I mean, you can probably tell now how I'm speaking. I speak really fast. So a lot of people here find it really difficult to understand us unless we slow down. But this in the second intake, so you said, there's an intake in October and there's one in February. So we just had our February intake students come in, and all of them, pretty much the majority of them are actually from England, which was really surprising to us. But we loved it. We were so happy because it's so now we can speak at our normal speed and no one's going to say that we have no idea what we just said.
Yeah, and as humans, we're tribes. So you like to go to places where your own
Exactly.
people are,
Birds of a
and it does
feather.
make you feel like you're in a community.
Yeah.
Any advice at all, just before you go, any advice that you give the students? And of course, having spoken with your parents who was very concerned about, you going abroad in itself, any advice that you would give those parents or students even who are watching this tonight?
I'd say just like don't be afraid. Like it is really, really daunting. It is like it's terrifying, to be honest. Like especially my first night, I remember like I couldn't. It was just like terrifying when you think how far you are from home. But like just don't be afraid. Like try and talk to as many people as you can. Like you don't realize how much you learn talking to people who who aren't similar to you. Like now that I have friends from all over the world, like I can't even count on like one hand all the countries that people come from here. Like just don't be afraid to talk to everybody. Like you gain so much knowledge and you gain so much confidence as well, and it's so much more fun when you are friends with everyone. Like but obviously it's really difficult because you're in a new country and you don't know who to talk to and things like that, but like I just say don't be afraid. Like just dive in.
Thank you so much for your assistance and help as well in joining us tonight and spending your time. I know you're a medical student, so you have very limited time, but thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so another question that I am asked as an advisor is, hey, how does this all work? How do you help us? What is the guideline? Can you walk me through the step by step of all the things that you guys do? As you've heard, we have advisors here, we have admissions team. Can you tell us about the step of the guidance of what you do to help us actually start the journey? And so to tell you a bit about this, I would like to invite back my colleague Tom, and he will expand a bit more about how we work as an organization. Tom?
Thanks, Edmund. So this is again something that we get asked a lot, how Medlink students can help you as an individual. There are lots of different aspects. So as I mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, when I said about the story of our students and the way that they went about the process themselves and realized they could help, they realized that it's not worth it just helping the students at one point, but we actually need to try and support you throughout in all the parts that we find the most essential. So that is in the consultations with myself, Edmund, Dana, one of our other advisors here at Medlink. It's then about managing your application and building that, and also help with settling in and then ongoing support throughout. So to go into a bit more detail with regards to those, let's start with the consultation. So this consultation is all about finding out about you as an individual, what your preferences are, what kind of budget you're looking to spend on tuition fees, but also your academic history, seeing what grades you have and trying to work out which options would be the most suitable based on the acceptance rate for yourself, based on your budget, based on your preferences, what kind of location you're looking for, everything that we can try and piece together to make the most suitable outcome for you. And obviously we have loads and loads of schools to choose from. So this is usually what we do over one or multiple appointments initially with yourselves. Now, from that point, we then start an application. So this is your first congratulations moment. You've taken a leap of faith and you've started building your file. This is when you get passed on to our admissions team, and together everyone will work on your file. So you'll have the legal work, the translations, apostilling your documents, everything that needs to be done. And the file, as my colleague Daniela put it before, would be developed by their teams. And we have specific teams working on specific countries to make sure that everything is done properly and efficiently. So that application will always go through exactly as intended. And we've also at that point given you all of the materials you need to prepare well for whichever entrance test or interview there is with these universities. So from that point, let's say you've got past the application, that was submitted, that's not a problem, Medlink have done it. You've done the exam, you've done the interview, you've passed, big congratulations. Now, the next part that can seem very daunting is settling in itself. So this is where we have the team on the ground that are going to be supporting you. So they're going to be picking you up from the airport. So you don't have to try and figure out, what taxi should I get into? Do I need some of the local currency? All these different worries that people have when they first arrive in the country. Again, now it can seem like such a small problem, but when you're actually there in the moment, you don't want to have to worry about these things. You're there to study medicine or dentistry, and that's stressful enough as it is. You don't have to go through all these other stresses too. And this is why we tell people that this is essential for us. You know, we have to offer you this support, and it's very important that we can give you this opportunity to feel comfortable and to feel supported. So once we picked you up from the airport, of course, tours of the city, the universities, help finding accommodation, setting up bank accounts, phone numbers, anything else that you need at that point. Now, moving on from there, it's then more about the full ongoing general support from our teams. So if you ever need anything, if you're ever in an emergency, you can contact us. If you're ever a bit concerned about something or a bit worried about something, you can contact us. As I said before, we call ourselves a family, we call ourselves a community above all else. That's what we're here to do, is we're here to support and help as many people as we can. And we look forward to helping you throughout that process as well. So without further ado, just a little summary here, just to go over it. So initially, the free consultation, the second part, the applications themselves, and the third part, obviously getting the acceptance. From there, you've then got the initial services, the pickup from the airport, the tours, help with settling in, and help, of course, with finding the right accommodation. So now moving on to the Q&A. As you can see, got a few example questions there. We've had so many questions, so thank you all so much for sending these in. This is really fantastic that we've got this opportunity now to go through with them. For those of you who haven't been able to yet, if you see here on the instructions, if you write a question on the Q&A section, you can use it just using the menu at the bottom there. And then, of course, you can upvote the question if you want to as well. I'm having a lot of these shared with me at the moment, so we can go through them all, or as many as we can this evening, and try and give you even more insight. So I hope this has been insightful and a good experience so far. We're going to be bringing some of the students back on as well to also talk about their experiences. Okay, so starting off, we had a question from Megan John that I wanted to answer, which says, when it says the next intake, is that the next time that they're taking in applications or the next time students are starting the course? So the next available intakes for universities, they vary. So it's best to have a conversation with us individually, and we can describe it case by case because every university is different. There are some universities that have spring intakes around this time of year, they're starting. And there are most universities starting in September, October time. The next one that I've got here says, can I apply to multiple universities for the same fee? Dana, are you with us at the moment? Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask yourself this question from Harsh Thanki. Can I apply to multiple universities for the same fee?
That's a great question. And we get asked this a lot. Best thing, as I mentioned when I was discussing the benefits of applying to Europe, is that you can apply to as many universities as you want. And yes, there are fees, expenses in the fees involved in the application to study in Europe. However, best part is our team is there to support you, and you only pay the application costs, and you can apply to as many universities as you want. So basically, yeah, we are here to support with as many universities as a student needs to apply to.
Fantastic.
The main point, one important thing to mention is when speaking to an advisor, it's very important to keep in mind that the reason why we get on a call with a student is to guide the student to choose a university based on the qualifications that they have, to help them apply to a university where they have a very high chance to be accepted. So basically, usually most of the times there's no need to apply to more than one option, but we do get some occasions where students want to apply to another option just for the peace of mind and for safety. So if that's the case, yes, it is possible, and you only pay the fees of the application, and our team is happy to help.
Fantastic. Dana, thank you very much. So I want to speak with the representatives over in Novi Sad now. I want to give them another chance to have a conversation with us and answer some of the common questions. Dubravka, are you here with us now?
Hello, we are here, both of us. Can you hear us?
Fantastic. Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Yeah, okay.
Great. So one thing I want to ask, a lot of questions have been said on the Q&A. They all have a very similar tone, and it's based around what it's like to adjust for international students. So have you found that, is it quite a difficult process, and what do you do in particular to help students adjust when they're coming over to study at Novi Sad?
First of all, I'd like to emphasize that Novi Sad is a very multicultural and multinational environment. We have some more than 20 nationalities live in Novi Sad. And we have, at the moment, we have some 500 and something foreign students from more than 30 countries at our Faculty of Medicine. At the very beginning, so when the students first come to our faculty, our students from advanced year of study, so their colleagues, they always arrange sort of a booth in the main hall. They are welcoming their colleagues. They are making tours around the school. They are showing them everything. Of course, also our staff from our office, there are 3 of us. We also help them with regarding to getting around. We can also recommend, because I have to say that we cannot offer accommodation because the student dorm is too small, and our students have to manage the accommodation by themselves. We can recommend several rental agencies. We cooperate, not cooperate, but we have some very good experience with a few rental agencies.
Yes, I was told about that.
Yes, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was told that you had a lot of experience with the rentals as well, and you assist with that as well as ourselves, which is fantastic. And it's a testament really to the experience that you have with students, because another thing we've been asked a lot is how many or what the process is like graduating, and are there graduates from these schools, and have they gone on to register in different countries? And I believe you've got quite a few doctors that are now working in the UK, aren't they, registered with the GMC?
Yeah, we have several who graduated maybe in the past 6 or 7 years, and as far as I know, they did not have any problems to recognize their degree. So Serbia is still not an EU country, so our diploma is not automatically recognized. But I have to say that our school is listed in all relevant databases like World Health Organization. We have also an online verification, FMG, West in Canada. So each country has some requirements regarding a recognition of the degree from Serbia. In Germany, it's almost automatically recognized. In Greece, there is some procedure. So the students should really check, or I am sure that Medlink can help them check our status and give them some basic information about the recognition of their degree. But
Of course.
yeah, all our doctors actually can work abroad. So it depends only how long is the recognition procedure, how long does it last. Also, our foreign graduates, they have option to do the postgraduate internship lasting 6 months, and then they can pass the licensure exam by the Serbian Ministry of Health. This is the license to practice medicine in Serbia. but it is valid in some European countries. For example, in Germany, they require a Serbian license in order to accept doctors graduating from Serbia.
Yeah, and the processes they do differ depending on the countries, and it's great that you have such a wide knowledge of that. And I guess that's based again on the experience that you guys have had. So thank you so much for joining us. Just to summarize, there obviously you have got a bunch of graduates now that work all over the world successfully as doctors, including many that are working in the UK, which for a lot of people listening, I understand is such an important thing. And makes such a big difference when it comes to taking that leap of faith, and coming to understand something. So I want to go over to one of our students now. Chudi, are you with us?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, I am.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Fantastic to see you again. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. You?
Very well, very well. So a lot of students are asking about safety. This is something that we see on every webinar, so apologies for those of you who are on a few of these. You've probably heard these through a few times. But Judy, I want to ask you kind of how do you feel in terms of the safety aspects where you're based?
Well, I live in dorms. There's typically here in Poland, near the university, we have dorms, and we have like a kind of private area, a kind of private where apartment complex where students usually stay, and that's called Braci. And usually people pick between these two locations, dormitories or Braci, to live in. And it's a really nice community. Here in dorms, we have security guards which patrol the area. Not that it's unsafe, it's just, we have security guards. I think the most dangerous thing is maybe like we're near a forest. We have deers that run around and stuff. I think that's as dangerous as it gets, really. Other than that, it's pretty much just really safe and not really safe. You can go out. You can go out at night. You can the nightlife, the social life is good. There's taxis available. There are night buses, transportation. So you're never really stranded in the place. Uber is really, there's Uber, Bolt. So, you're not getting into like taxis with people you don't know. You just use your app, you use the app and you go out and so pretty much safe in terms of, nightlight at nighttime during the day. I've never had any issues personally. I've never witnessed anything or heard any stories either. It's really safe here. It's a small city, Kato. We're near Krakow, so it's a small city. So with smaller cities, you don't really get a lot of the kind of hustle and bustle you do with the big cities, bigger cities. So it's very safe. I find it very safe.
Good. And remind me, what year are you in at the moment?
So I'm actually in 5th year, and I start 6th year this year as well. So my final year. So I'm currently doing the whole GMC F1 applications. So that's currently what I'm doing now.
Wow. Okay. Because obviously that's another thing that I can see here. We've got so many questions that have the letters GMC. How do you feel towards it all? And what's the process like for you at the moment? Obviously in the early stages.
Yeah, it's really straightforward, to be honest. So I've gone through the requirements extensively for both the GMC and for FY1, because there are two kind of separate things. But it's really, really straightforward. You pretty much need to make sure everything you're eligible with, like your university, your degree, everything's eligible with the GMC, which it is, I think, with every university you work with. It's all eligible. And then you need to make sure that you meet all the requirements, which again is very straightforward as well, which we all do. And then you need to then do situational judgment and IELTS or OET, one of the two. That's currently what I'm doing right now. So once you sit those and you pass those, then that's pretty much it. You apply for F1 and you get offered, you put down a list of hospitals, you know, that are your preferences, and you get off the hospital and you go back and you start working, you know, with whichever hospital you get selected at. So just really straightforward process, you know. I found it anyway to be a very straightforward process, and no one here ever says this is too complicated. It's very, very straightforward.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sure that's reassured a lot of people watching at home. And another question that we've got here is someone's asking, what is it like to practice with real patients if you don't speak the native language? Now, obviously, you've been doing a lot of clinical experience now. You've been working with a lot of patients, so you can probably give us a pretty good insight into that one.
Yes. So you will learn Polish in our classes. We do have Polish classes, but obviously probably not to the level of a native speaker, but you will learn it well enough to conversate. So you will actually be able to speak to the patients, like pleasantries and things like that. And something else that we learn is like kind of the medical terminologies. You'll learn how to tell when you're doing physical examinations, you'll know what to tell them, like what to ask and things like that in Polish. And also anything you don't necessarily know, there's a doctor there that always speaks both English and Polish, and will be able to translate and, you know, tell you, you know, this is what they said, this is what they didn't say. And so that's really convenient as well. And medicine is always good to have, you know, the language, at least to the basic level. But you do physical examinations and you're listening to heartbeats. You know, the heart doesn't really speak a language. You kind of know whether it's working or whether it's not working. So, you know, when you're doing physical examinations and you're reading MRIs and CT scans and all these kind of things, you don't really necessarily need a full depth level of the language. You just really need the basics to speak to the patient, understand why they're there, and most importantly, and anything you don't know, the doctor will always tell you. So I find that I don't really see a difference between, because I've done clerkships in the UK. I don't really see the difference between the clerkships in the UK and, you know, rotations here, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll touch a little bit upon that in a minute. You're kind of, because you've got that unique perspective of you've done some experiences in the UK very similar, so you can compare those, which is fantastic. Gives us a really good insight. One thing I wanted to ask, just touching up on the language, there are people that are afraid when you mention speaking another language, especially, you know what we're like in the UK with speaking other languages. Yeah. The rest of Europe are always making jokes about us in the UK not being very good at this. So did you struggle learning the language, or did you say that the limit that you have to learn it comes quite naturally over time?
I'll answer that in Polish. No, I didn't struggle with it. I didn't find it too difficult. And more importantly, you don't need to know the full language. Like, you're not going to do, like, you don't need to know the full language. You just need to know the basics. It's kind of like, I equate it to like the level you need to know kind of going on holiday. Like, you know how you get those small tourist books and you kind of like just read up on some phrases, and that's how I equate it to. I literally just need to know a few phrases. Hello, how are you? You know, it becomes second nature, these phrases, these words, and you're repeating it so often that without even thinking, you're literally just saying these words. Like when you're telling them to say stuff, when you're listening to the lungs, you know, you just say it, and you're saying that thing to them, you're saying it to another patient and another patient, and it becomes second nature. I've actually, in the UK, when doing a clerkship, when I was examining someone's lungs, I actually accidentally spoke Polish to them, and they were like, "Oh, what was that?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I meant say this." And so it becomes so, you know. And I was probably one of those students or British people who doesn't like afraid of learning a new language. But I come here, it's the lessons were so nice. I should actually add that the lessons with the Polish teacher we have here, she was so nice. It was so nice. It was so fun. She made it interactive, and I looked forward to Polish class more than most of my other classes because of how much fun we had learning it. So I would say that don't be afraid. It's not that complicated. And more importantly, a lot of this stuff is in English. You'll talk everything in English. It's only when you get to the hospitals and you're talking to the patients that you need a basic level of Polish. Other than that, everything is in English. It's an English program. So it's not daunting at all.
Great. And while you're here, a lot of people have also been asking, is the quality going to be affected if you go and study abroad? Now, you said before you've done some clerkships in the UK, you've had the experiences in Katowice in Poland. What are the big sort of differences, or is it quite similar?
I think wherever you go, the most important thing is you. I've always found I've been to many places, and I finally found one that fits with me. And something I've always found is that what you put in is what you get out. So if you go to the hospitals and you just want to be there for the hours, once the time's gone, then you leave, then that's the level you're going to get wherever you are in the world. It's just the way it works. But if you're actually there and you're speaking to them, because what clinicals pretty much is you've studied everything, you've done your basic sciences, and you technically know medicine to a theoretical level. And now you need to learn it into a clinical level. And so what you need to do now is all the knowledge you've acquired over the years of anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, pathology, all that stuff, you kind of now are going to the hospitals and you're seeing that. And so if the doctor will tell you, okay, tomorrow we're doing ischemic heart disease, ischemic diseases, valvular diseases, those kind of things. You go home and you either sit down and do nothing, or you study up on those so that when you go to the hospital the next day and you're seeing patients and you're seeing scans and you're seeing angiograms and you're seeing all these different things, you're able to be like, oh, I saw this in the textbook. Oh, this is this. The patient will experience this. This will happen with that patient. These are the symptoms. And it becomes very interactive. And doctors also here love that when you're studying and you bring the knowledge and they tell you, okay, what's the emergency treatment for this? Oh, it's this, it's this. So it's pretty much up to you, wherever you go in life, to either put in everything into something and do what you're able and capable to do, or to just, not. And that's what you'll get out of it if you do that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us this evening. Once again, as before, we really appreciate your insight and just sharing these experiences, helping so many people that were, you were once in the same position as them. So we really appreciate it. Thank you again.
No problem. It was nice. Thank you for having me. It was nice speaking to you all.
Of course, you're more than welcome. Okay, next up, I think we've got Esther. Esther, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Esther. Lovely to see you.
Same here.
So, a couple of times we've had people ask with regards to Georgia, is with regarding the actual finances, and they're asking, what is it like in terms of living costs and things like that in Georgia? Now, how has it been for you there? Because you were in the UK before, right?
Yeah.
And what's it like compared to the UK going over to Georgia?
It's really cheap, I would say, because, for instance, when I newly came into Georgia and I want to do shopping, whenever I go to shops and I come back, I found out that I don't even spend up to £20, and I got a lot of things. So you can see that the exchange rate is favorable, and you don't get to spend much in terms of grocery shopping or whatever you want to buy. And transportation is really low. Trust me, you can end up you can use like £2 for a month, depending on where you're going to, because transportations here, they are really cheap, especially if you're a student. You'd have a discount for transportation. So living expenses and every other thing, they're really low here in Georgia.
Fantastic. And how have you felt? Because again, something that we keep getting asked for Georgia. I think because Georgia is a lesser known country, especially for a lot of students from like the UK, for example. How do you feel there in terms of safety?
Yeah, it's safe too. It's also safe. I'm really happy I'm in Georgia, although something, let's say, unfortunate happened. I actually came here, I think, in 2022, yeah. And then I was a graduate student then. And so far, for the 2 years I've stayed here, it's been okay. 2 years, 1 year plus rather, it's been okay. It's been safe. You can walk around. Sometimes when I go to work, yes, I work. When I go to work, I can come back at 1 a.m. In fact, you can move wherever you want to, and you're just so, and just like that. And then we also have police vans and other security agents running around to and fro, just like they normally do in the UK. Just once in a while, you see them pass around to ensure that everywhere is safe and everything is okay. So it's really safe here in Georgia.
Fantastic. I'm glad that you say that because again, you're going to help people feel more comfortable with that decision. Safety is such a big thing. You know, if you're going to study medicine, that's hard enough as it is. You don't want to have to worry about things, you know, like your basic safety and security, you know, on a day-to-day basis. Esther, I know you've got a lot on, so I'll let you carry on. I know you're really busy at the moment with your studies and everything else. So thank you very much for your input. We hope to get more from you when we can in the future. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't get that clearly.
Oh, no problem. We were just saying thank you very much for your participation. I know
okay.
you're really busy with things, so I don't want to keep you too long. So we're going to move on to speak with another student quickly now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to be asking some questions for Hemdev. Hemdev, are you with us?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you as well.
Perfect.
How are you?
You can hear me, right? Sorry, I'm not sure if I can.
Yes, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, I can hear you perfect as well.
Okay, fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Very well. How is Sophia Medical University?
It's actually a fun experience, to be honest. Interesting, a bit of. I mean, it's just the first year, and I'll be honest, it really went fast. I guess because of all the exams that's happening, all the you've always been occupied with something to do, always have something to give, like some homeworks or like something like on a due date. So it went really fast. But at the same time, it was a fun experience. Lot of extracurricular activities. Like I'm currently in the cricket society, badminton society, football as well. So I'm really enjoying my time here because I got to make the most of that for the 6 years.
You read my mind. I was going to ask you then. One of the questions here they were asking, you know, how do the social societies, sports clubs, social events, do they work in a similar way to what you'd expect from the UK?
Yeah, they do work in a similar way. I think they do understand that in the society there's people from every year, so they're gonna have like different timetables and like, so they're really trying to make sure that they can involve as many people as possible. And to be honest, some of the societies actually prefer first year students to be like more involved, so that they get to be more familiar with the people in the uni, and they become more familiarized with like who's studying there, and like probably like making new friends, because my perspective is at the end we're all here in a new country looking for help, trying to study, trying to achieve our goals. So we might as well find as many people who are like traveling the same boat, and so that we can help each other on the way.
Absolutely. It's so important to support each other. And this is one of the things that we love to see. And I say this to so many students when we discuss it with them is, you know, you're going to feel nervous until you get there. but once you're there and you meet people, you get to know other people, everything becomes so much easier and so much more comfortable. Do you feel like there's a good international community where you are there? Because that's another thing that people seem to be quite concerned about.
I think different cultures, and to be honest, I know many people from all around the world, like Qatar, Egypt, India, Pakistan, and so it's really interesting that, like, how for a person who in the UK only know people like from like different streets to now knowing people from all around the world. So like it's just a great to meet and a lot of new people.
Fantastic, yeah, because I think a lot of people they don't always think that these far Eastern European countries are going to have this kind of level of diversity, but you see a lot of it there in Sofia.
Yeah, I do. I really see a lot of them, and like it's actually interesting that it feels quite normal. I'll be honest. I mean, well, when we're going to uni, so we're always occupied with something. At the same time, it just quite feels normal to be around people from different culture, but that's I'm from back in the UK. So it just feels like a normal experience for me, and I feel like the 6 years is going to be great.
All right, fantastic. And have you found, because another question we've got here, have you found any difficulties understanding the teachers, or do you feel like their level of English in these Eastern European schools is quite good?
I do believe that the English in Sofia University is very good. Like I could understand what they say, and even if I don't, I could just clearly ask them for help, and they would, like, how can I say, they would try their level best to make it easier for me to understand. I don't feel like there's any issues with them, like the way they speak English. They speak very fluently and easy to understand for me, in my perspective.
Fantastic. All right, Hemda, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Again, really appreciate it. It's amazing to have you on. You look like you're enjoying it so much, which is, a big reason of why we do what we do. And it's so great to see that experience you're having. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. Hope to see you some other time.
Of course, we will be in touch. We'll see you again soon. Thank you. Okay, so we've got another student here, Samir. Samir, are you with us?
Hello, hi, can you hear me?
I can, yes. How are you?
Okay, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, where you study and what year you're in currently?
Yeah, I'm currently in the first year in Medical University of Białystok in Poland.
Okay, fantastic. And how are you finding it?
Honestly, it's amazing. It's been 6 months and it went by really fast. From coming here, getting integrated in not only in the university, but also in the country. It's been an amazing experience. Academically also, it's been amazing. The professors are extremely helpful. Not just like the professors, they give you all the study material, but the senior students as well. They're always there to help you. And yeah, honestly, it's been amazing so far.
Fantastic. I'm glad you've had such an amazing experience to start off your medical journey. It sounds like everything's gone perfectly for you so far. And the same sort of questions to yourself really as before with Hemda. How do you feel? Do you feel comfortable in the location where you are in Poland?
Yes, honestly, it's like the type of city I would go to. It's peaceful also. Everything is very nearby. It's like I would say 80% of this population is only students. So it's just perfect for a student. Like if you want to eat out or you want to go out for some leisure time, everything is there. The libraries are there. And the hospital is very nearby as well. God forbid you need it, but it's nearby for the working and everything. So honestly, it's a perfect city for the students.
Fantastic. And I was speaking to a student today and they made me promise that I was going to ask this. They can hear it from a student themselves. How did you find the admissions test and the whole admissions process with Białystok?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in Białystok, there are basically 2 steps. The first step is on basis of your grades from high school. And once you clear that, you have the interview. The interview for me, if I remember correctly, it was around 15 to 20 minutes. They basically ask you questions from chemistry, biology, and physics, not all 3 of them. You can choose 2 subjects. and there'll be two people, two professors or two head of departments who will be asking you those questions. I even remember, I think in my interview, the dean was even present. So it just bases on your luck, like if you have the professors or the dean, but they will evaluate you completely fairly and the same way. And they ask you questions, and once both of them are satisfied, they tell you that it's okay or not. By the end of the interview, you do get an idea if you're in or not. In most cases, you are, because you are well prepared. I mean, Medlink did provide me with everything beforehand, so with how to prepare for the interview and everything, so it was fine.
Fantastic. I'm glad that our preparations and the materials that we gave to you beforehand helped as well. And thank you for talking it through. So just to clarify, you found it quite straightforward, or was it very difficult for you, if you were to sum it up?
No, honestly, it was pretty straightforward. If you have done all the subjects, even if you have not, it's basic chemistry, basic biology. I had chosen those two topics, and it was basic. It's doable, honestly, yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. And how have you found the sort of social aspect with the school there?
The social aspect is amazing, actually. So in Białystok, the main two communities that are available are the Norwegians and Germans, but it's not like they stay amongst themselves. They integrate the whole batch, but they organize many parties where you can meet them, where you integrate yourself. Even the universities organize this party with the Polish division so that the English division, Polish division get an opportunity to meet. And like it was said earlier also, in Poland, the younger generation speak fluently English, so that's not a problem. There was even a cooking competition which was organized, a sightseeing tour which was organized, a karaoke night which was organized. So many events are organized like that. And like I said, it's a completely city for students, so there are many things to do for students. Like you can go out, you can eat out, there's clubbing also, there's everything. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing that. And what do you plan to do after the degree? Where do you plan to go to register?
Well, I'm from Switzerland, so I plan to come back to Switzerland.
Fantastic. Okay. So have you looked at the kind of requirements and what you'll have to do, and how do you feel about that process?
To be very honest, I'm in my first year, so I'm not very much looking into it. But yes, I did look into it because because that was one of my concerns. Like, will I be able to come back and practice? But yes, I will be able to. I just have to do an internship for 7 months, 7 to 8 months, in order to get the license. And when I have that, I can basically transfer my degree to the Swiss medical system and give an exam in Switzerland to be able to practice in Switzerland.
Okay, so you still know quite a lot considering you just started, which is good. It's good that you've got that info. And is there anything that you'd like to share with us about your experience so far?
Just one tip to everyone, because I know I stepped way out of my comfort zone, leaving home and just going into a new country. Don't sit in the corner. Just everyone's sailing in the same boat. No one knows anyone. Like, you have the language barrier, you have the cultural shock. Don't feel that you are the only one facing it. Everyone is going through the same thing. Just go there, talk to people. Even if you're scared, like if they will reply to you or not. I was scared. Like, I was very hesitant to talk to people. I was like, maybe they won't even talk to me or something. No, people are extremely nice. Everyone's going through the same thing, the accommodation, the banking, everything. I mean, I made friends while opening a bank account. We laugh at those things now, but honestly, we'll make friends at any point. So don't sit in a corner, just go out and be social.
An amazing piece of advice, and something that I hope all of the students have listened to and noted down, because it's easy to forget when you go and study abroad. Sometimes you can just kind of get a bit nervous, and it's normal to feel that way, but you've got to really push yourself to go and interact. It's just like the first day of school, really, isn't it? You know, going into a new school. You've got to go and mix in with everyone. And we try to give as many opportunities and things like that we can. Okay, Samir, thank you so much for your time. We hope to have you on again soon. And
thank you for having me.
See how you get on.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Okay. So we have got loads and loads more questions, but as I can see here, we've gone quite a bit over schedule. As often happens, we've tried to answer as many of your questions as we can, sorry. But now is a time for us to reach out to yourselves and offer this personal Q&A session. So we're more than happy, if you want to, you can scan the link or use the link to click there, whichever way works best for you. And we will do a personal questions and answers appointment where we'll go through all of your questions, all of your queries, anything that you've noted down from today that you need some extra clarification on. We are here to help you in order to do that. And that's what we're going to be doing now for the next, as you can see, 24 hours there. We've got the openings available, so feel free to book in. We'll be there, we'll be on hand, we'll support you and find options that you qualify for, options that you may not have considered so far that might be a good fit for you. Perhaps based on the universities you've heard today and the students we've just heard, these incredible students that have told us about their stories, maybe one of them has inspired you, but you want to see if this is right for you. Bear in mind, these universities, they all have different requirements. I wish we could say everyone could go into all of these universities, but we need to check these things first. We need to go through and have a conversation. And obviously from that point, we then have our admissions team to work on it for you. But yes, feel free to reach out, get in touch. It's been wonderful having you all on. I'm just going to pass on now to one of my colleagues who's just going to have a quick word just to summarize. Osman, over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Wow, what an amazing evening tonight has been. And we've had hundreds of students tune in, listen, ask their questions as well. We wish we could answer every single question. We love what we do and we love helping students like yourselves. We do this day and night. In fact, where we are is very late. All of us tuning in from different parts of the world, students, representatives of universities, expert advisors, everyone coming in together to provide you with all this essential information with studying abroad. I can tell you the reason that we decided to do something like this and to give a free opportunity where you can come and ask as many questions as possible. We give you our time, our expertise, our experience, our years of working in this field, all for free, without asking you for anything in return, without any obligation in return. All our students volunteering to help and inspire future students and generations like you who are going to go on to become amazing doctors. The reason that we do this is because we're so passionate about helping students like yourself, or parents even that are tuning in and listening today. We're really passionate about this. We enjoy doing this. We do it day and night. And if you've spoken to us already, you know that you can reach us at any time, usually weekends, holidays, even on Christmas Day. We usually find ourselves, us, me, the advisors, all of us, we're answering questions, supporting students and helping you to progress with your decision of choosing whether to go abroad or not. We're here to help you with this, and you're under no obligation whatsoever to sign up. It's up to you to come, get all the information so we can give you all the facts, because in this day and age with the internet, there is so much misinformation out there. Everybody's got an opinion on everything in this day and age. I know when I was considering going abroad, and for me, I forgot to introduce myself. I studied in Bulgaria, dentistry. I was living in the UK most of my life. Originally, I'm from Lebanon. When I went abroad, it was very, very tough, and it took me a long time to make that decision. And I'm sure you're going through that experience as well. And I can tell you now that after a couple of weeks of being abroad, I'll be honest with you, the first few weeks were very tough because I had no agency, nobody to support me, and I did it on my own. And it was very tough to transition, to go into a country where you've never set foot in and never spoken the language of, where you don't know anyone. Well, know anyone on a very personal level. Maybe you'll meet people and become acquaintances with them. But knowing and having a support group like Medlink Students has become imperative and so important and essential in the lives of students and their decision making and their ability to go abroad. And that's why we set up this organization as a group of doctors, dentists, and professionals like you've seen today, experts who we work all closely together to support you and help you and guide you with the process, because we know it's a very tough process and it takes a long time to look at all the research, to look at all the information on the internet, because there's so much information out there and you don't know who you can trust, who you can go to, who's done it, who's tried and tested this pathway. And I can tell you, I've done it. And the best thing that you can do is get the right advice from the right people. That's why we're here. That's why we're ready to support students like you or parents like you who are there to support their children with going abroad. And we love doing this. We really enjoy it. Maybe for you it's a shock or very odd, but for us, it's something we're so passionate about. And that's why we sit for hours, we prepare for this webinar, we gather all of us together in this one place so we can guide you and provide you with all the essential information. So we're really looking forward to speaking with you one-on-one so we can support you and provide you with all the information that you need in order to make the most informed decision on your future and your career. Thank you all for joining today. It was a real pleasure speaking with you all, answering as many questions as we can. And I would love to speak with you in person as well. And I'm sure Edmund, Dana, Tom, and the rest of our advisors who have also been working very hard. I'm sure their little fingers are very tired in this evening. And we're ready. We're still here to support you this evening or even tomorrow. So you can, if you can't scan on the QR code here, all you need to do is just click on the chat and we'll get in touch with you.